Tonight, I'm going to round up what we started last week, Sunday. It's a teaching on purpose. I've dealt with the beauty of purposeful living. And I'm now dealing with requirements for fulfilling purpose. And on Tuesday, we looked at the intrinsic requirements, the internal requirements for fulfilling purpose. And tonight, within the short time that we have, I'll attempt to advance some external or intrinsic requirements for fulfilling purpose. But quickly, to give us a reminder, we said purpose is very important. It is what substantiates your existence. A man who does not live for a purpose is almost not different from an animal. What separates us into our class and gives us relevance both in time and in eternity is the quality of purpose that we were given and the extent to which we fulfill it. I said when you get to the end of your journey in time and you look back, there is something that will matter. It's called fulfillment. And the only reason you will find fulfillment when you look back will be because you fulfilled purpose. If you didn't, you will discover that your death or your transition point will be a torment. And then when you look forward, what will matter are the rewards that you are going to inherit as you go into the next dispensation of existence. And again, whether you will merit any reward is also to the degree that you fulfilled your purpose. So both fulfillment and reward are at the mercy of the fulfillment of purpose. This is why purpose, amongst other things, stands out as the most significant essence of your life. This is how to depart from here. I've told you several times, it's a blessing to live old, but it's a waste of time if you live old without fulfilling purpose. What gives old age value is not gray hair. Gray hair is a blessing. That means God gave you enough time for purpose. But in case you fail to fulfill purpose, your gray hair will bring reproach to you. So I said we don't just live here at old age. We live here finished. While Jesus was on the cross, he was only 33 and a half years old. But he looked up and said, "It is finished. Father, unto you I commend my spirit." So if you were to depart from here, by reason of divine blessings, live a fruitful old age. And let that fruitfulness be that you fulfilled purpose. Because if you don't live here finished, you either have no right existing or you have no right departing. I read for us from 2 Timothy 4, verse 6 to verse 8. And I outlined 6 phrases that should characterize the life of a purposeful man. Paul was speaking. He said, "Now I am ready to be offered." Anybody who is finished knows. Anybody who has fulfilled life, purpose, and destiny, he knows. I am ready. For this kind of man, transition is really to glory. He knows his assignment is complete. So before you leave here, you must come to a point where you say, "I am ready." And he will tell you why. Number 2 phrase, he said, "The time of my departure is at hand." Because the reason you are here is not to roam around. The reason you are here is to fulfill purpose. And so the moment your purpose is fulfilled, you will know it's time to go. I'm ready to go. My time is at hand. Next verse. I have fought a good fight. Number 4. I have finished my course. If you finish, you will know, sir. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Remember, the just shall live by faith. So what we are saying here, you don't finish it on the strength of the flesh. This is not intelligence. This is divine ordination, fulfilled according to God's counsel. And then number 6, he said, there remaineth for me. He knew his reward. A crown of righteousness that the Lord God, the just judge, has laid aside for me. And he added what made me happy. He said, not me only, but everyone that loves is appearing. So you can decide to put yourself there or remove yourself. Everyone that loves is appearing. So if you want to be there, you can. That's what Paul is telling us. I am ready to be offered. My time is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have kept the faith. I have finished my course. There remaineth for me a crown of righteousness. These are the 6 phrases that defined a life of fulfillment. It's my prayer that on your day of your departure, this will be your testimony. I'm talking to the wrong people. Those of you online who are ready to receive, it's my prayer that on your day of departure, this will be your testimony. In the name of Jesus Christ. So purpose is very important. In addition to this, I said there are 5 other benefits. Number 1, a man of purpose has clarity. He knows where he's going. That's why he doesn't dabble in everything. When you find people who are everywhere at every time, they are going nowhere, sir. There are many people escorting others to destiny. And the way you will find it or discover it is that they are everywhere. Everything gets their attention. Everywhere is what their presence. They are going nowhere. People of purpose have clarity. And because of that, they are led by the Spirit. Because they yield to the one who dictates purpose. Isaiah 30:21 said, even when they are in the wrong direction, they will hear a voice behind them, telling them the way to go. So purpose is important because amongst other things, it brings clarity. Number 2, I said purpose is important because it brings inner peace and fulfillment. As important as resources are, and I'm going to mention it, people who fulfill purpose, even when they don't have money, they are not perturbed. Because they draw their peace from their journey. I was reading to them this morning from 2 Corinthians 11, verse 23 to 27. You need to see the perils that Paul went through. Believe me, if these things happen to you, you either become an atheist or you will commit suicide. If one, look at Paul's life to show you that peace is not happiness. Joy is not happiness. It's something deeper, and only people of purpose find it. He said, he was talking about himself and other ministers, and he acknowledged that this is not something he does every other day. He said, are they not ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. Am I not more? He said, in labors more abundantly. He said, in stripes above measure. In prisons more frequent. In death often. This is one man's life. Yet this guy was full of joy and peace. He said, of the Jews, five times received I 40 stripes, save one. That's 39 strokes. The Jewish people flogged him 39 strokes 5 times. And then he went further. Thrice I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. People gathered to stone him to death. And then he went further. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. You have headache. You say, God, where are you? A night and a day I was in the deep. He fell into the water. No rescue for the whole night and the whole day. He became an aquatic creature. Trying to survive. In journeys, often, journeys, you have not traveled. You don't know what I'm saying. We who travel on business class, in aircrafts, When you come back, you are stretching. You say it's not easy. These guys were trekking and traveling on donkeys. And he said he traveled often. If you read about Paul's missionary journey, you will know that people love God. Telling you. He will mention it. Don't worry. He went ahead in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the hidden, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren. The guy saw it all. On the journey of purpose. In weariness, in painfulness, in watching, that's intercession, in hunger, in thirst, in fasting, often. You need to know there are times when there's no food, so you just call it fasting. Paul said this one is normal lifestyle. And then in coldness and in nakedness. And I told my people, I said some of these things Paul is listing here, they were all happening at the same time. So there were times when they were flogging him, he was naked, he was cold, he was hungry, and he was in prison. Yet, see the way Paul described this. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. If you don't have peace and joy, you can't talk like Paul. He said, our light affliction are but for a moment. Prison is light affliction. 39 strokes, 5 times, light affliction. Shipwreck, light affliction. When you find purpose, sir, nothing can break you. You will become like Mount Zion that cannot be moved. There is a peace that surpasses knowledge that purpose furnishes. That's why Jesus speaking in John 4:34, he said, my food is to do the will of him that sent me and to fulfill it. He enjoyed life like food because he was doing the will of the Father. Number 3, I said purpose is the backbone for provision. 1 Thessalonians 5:24, it says, faithful is he who has called you, and he will do it. Some of us, the reason we have terrible lack is not just because the country is hard. It's because we are not fulfilling purpose. Believe me, when you start fulfilling purpose, resources will show up. I know it by experience. Most of you here, even when you are going through difficulty, something has moved you to give to me. Because when you calculate it, you just want to bless me. It's not because you love my face, sir. What I'm doing compels compliance. That's how purpose works. The Bible said Gentiles will come to your light. It said kings will come to the brightness of your rising. One of the surest way of curing lack is to fulfill purpose. When you find your purpose, strangers will build your walls. You will suck the breast of kings. I'm telling you, the reason many people are shouting and crying, they've not entered their purpose. Either they have not discovered it, or they are not yet living it. They are still jumping and, doing all kinds of permutations. Genuinely face your purpose and see the way God will back you up. See the way Paul will say it. Philippians 2:13 is God that worketh in us, both to will and to do. There is empowerment, sir. There is provision because he's fulfilling purpose. Number 4, you fulfill purpose, influence and impact becomes a byproduct. Real purpose compels influence. Real one. You study the life of Jesus when he returned and started his missions. The Bible said the land of Zebulun, the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. Matthew 4:15. He said the people that sat in darkness have seen a great light. And Luke 4:15, the Bible said his fame went abroad. Some of us are not influential because we are cutting our hair and showing haircut. We are just preaching Jesus. And millions are following from all around the world. It gives you opportunity to impact people. And that's why I told you that if you are not impacting people, you have not found purpose. Purpose is not about self. It's about God and others. Then self will be taken care of. So it has to do with impact. And then finally, Purpose procure